witnessing a growing wave of protests led mainly by young people, spreading across major cities and putting pressure on the government. The demonstrations are largely driven by anger over alleged exam leaks and wider concerns about unemployment and governance that is taking place from different areas in India. News in details. Are largely driven by anger over alleged exam leaks and wider concerns about employment and governance. Thousands of students have taken to the streets in the cities including New Delhi, Mumbai and Bangalore, protesting what they describe as corruption and unfairness in the country's examination system. At the center of the unrest is a scandal involving leaked medical insurance exam papers, which reportedly affected nearly 2 million candidates. Protests have at times turned violent, with clashes between demonstrators and police. Authorities have responded with tear gas and baton charges, leaving dozens injured. Security has also been tightened in the capital city, with some metro stations closed and largely gatherings restricted to prevent escalation. The movement, largely driven by young people and amplified through social media, has gained nationwide attention. A youth-led group known as the Cockroach Movement has emerged as a symbol of resistance, demanding accountability and reforms. Many protesters say the issue goes beyond exams, pointing to deeper frustrations over job shortages and limited opportunities for young graduates. Protesters are calling for resignation of the country's education minister and stronger measures to prevent future exam leaks. The protests have also spilled into politics, with opposition leaders joining demonstrations and disrupting parliamentary sessions in solidarity with the students. Meanwhile, the government has urged dialogue and promised reforms, but has so far resisted calls for resignation. Adding to the pressure, activist Sonam Wangchuk has staged a hunger strike in support of the protesters, further drawing attention to the movement. As protests continue, analysts warn that this youth-led movement could evolve into a broader challenge to the government if key demands are not addressed. For now, tensions remain high across India, with both sides standing firm. The coming days will be crucial in determining whether dialogue can ease the crisis or whether protest will intensify further. From India to Ukraine. Ukraine has announced a major shake-up in its military leadership, with the President Volodymyr Zelensky dismissing the country's top army commander following days of public protests and growing criticism over the handling of the war with Russia. News in detail. Ukraine has announced a major shakeup in its military leadership, with President Volodymyr Zelensky dismissing country's top army commander following days of public protests and growing criticism over handling the war with Russia. Thousands of demonstrators, including soldiers and veterans, took to the streets across Ukraine, demanding accountability and reforms within the armed forces. Protesters accused the military leadership of outdated strategies and the high casualty rate on the battlefield. In response to mounting pressure, President Zelensky dismissed Commander-in-Chief General Oleksandr Syrskyi, a veteran military leader who had played a key role in major battles earlier in the war. He has been replaced by Major General Mikhailo Delapati, a younger and reform-oriented commander widely seen as part of a new generation of military leadership. Delapati is known for his frontline experience and efforts to modernize Ukraine's armed forces. The decision comes amid a broader political crisis and government reshuffle, with tensions rising over the direction of Ukraine's war strategy and defensive reforms. Analysts say the move reflects both public pressure and the urgent need to adapt the evolving battlefield. In a statement, President Zelensky emphasized the need for renewal leadership to strengthen Ukraine's military performance and improve coordination, procurement, and defense systems. While the former commander was praised for his role in defending Kiev and other key regions, critics argued that his leadership relied on costly tactics that resulted in significant losses forces, fueling public dissatisfaction. The appointment of Drapati signals a shift toward modernizations and reform as Ukraine continues to face intense pressure on the front lines in its ongoing war with Russia. As the conflict continues, all eyes are now on the new military leadership and whether these changes will translate into stronger performance on the battlefield and renewed public confidence. Well, and that story from Ukraine takes us to an end of our news edition tonight. But before we close, let's go back to the top story.